Jay Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 3, episode 5. On today's episode, I will be discussing was the Jets win on Thursday something or nothing, and then I'm gonna give y'all my week 3 picks. All right, but before I get into any of that, as always, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning, allow me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. Without Him, I would not be here right now. So let's go ahead and let's get straight to the point. All right, on Thursday, the Jets did defeat the Patriots 24-3. But let's talk about was that win something or nothing briefly. I'm not gonna hold y'all too long. To me, right, I feel like the public is looking at it as well. They only beat the Patriots, right? They only beat the Patriots. But I told y'all after that 49ers loss, the Jets needed to use these next couple of games to kind of get a rhythm, to get something going, right? Tune-up games is what I called it. Against Tennessee, they barely beat Tennessee, so there was still rumblings out there after week 2 that y'all barely beat a bad team in Tennessee. Like, we still don't believe in the Jets. But Thursday night, they was at home, their home opener. Mind you, this is A-Rod first game in New York since what happened last year when he tore his Achilles. And his first full game at home, and they handled their business. And they didn't just barely beat the Patriots; they whooped the Patriots. They beat them by 21 points. Now, like I said, a lot of people are thinking that it's just the Patriots, but at the end of the day, they beat them like they were supposed to. Last week they beat a bad team, barely beat a bad team. Nobody gave them credit. So let's give them credit for being able to beat a Patriots team that beat the Bengals, right? Gave the Seahawks a run for their money, and then week 3 got the brakes beat off of them by the Jets. Okay, so let's give the Jets credit for handling their business and doing what we wanted to see them do, which was beat a very bad team by a lot of points. All right, so it was definitely something. It's not nothing. It's definitely something. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Aaron Rodgers, to me, looked like prime Aaron Rodgers. Now, not to the full extent, right? But he at least gave me over half of prime Aaron Rodgers. And the thing that I was looking for the most is, can he get comfortable? So Aaron Rodgers' numbers was 27 for 35, 281 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and then he had those 3 carries for 18 yards. Right, so to see Aaron move around the field, scramble and throw on the run, to see him actually run the football, it can only make Jets fans have hope and belief that with this Aaron Rodgers, this team is dangerous. All right, and I still believe that he's still getting comfortable. After from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, I've seen him because I paid attention. I've seen him get more and more comfortable in this new offense. Well, it's not a new offense because Nathaniel Hackett ran this offense with him in Green Bay, but it's new weapons, it's new players, right? And I think that in a new old line, especially that was the big question mark coming to the season. And I think that we saw him very comfortable out there. Like he looked like he was in his own backyard. And that is what I've been looking for. And I'm sure that's what Jets fans are so excited to see because he is the answer to their problems. This is why I was so high on this team coming into the season because Aaron Rodgers to me is not washed. I don't know why people believe he was washed. So after Thursday, now the talk is okay, we found out he's not washed. He still got it. I knew he still had it. I was just worried about his injury. Right? I was still worried about him re-injuring the Achilles. Every time he ran the ball, I was very nervous, right? But he took hits. He took a late hit one time and popped right back up. He got tackled going out of bounds a couple of times. He's back and he's back to normal. All right. But I think two things that I really liked or that I'm seeing from the Jets as the season goes along, right? We're only in week 3, but it's getting better and better as it goes, is they found a gem in Braylon Allen. Okay, Braylon Allen was a really good running back in Wisconsin a couple of years ago. His hype kind of went down because his last couple of years wasn't a lot of noise. But early in Wisconsin, as a freshman, he was really, really good. And they found out that guess what? We can still give Brees Hall his normal production, right? We can give him his normal usage, right? We're going to use the heck out of Brees Hall because he's that talented. We're going to give him 16 carries or more a game. He had 16 carries and 54 yards and a touchdown. But Braylon Allen also had 11 carries, 55 yards, right? So they found a balance. They found a 1-2 punch, which you can low-key call thunder and lightning because Braylon Allen going to run through you. Brees Hall going to run around you, right? So I think they found something very special in Braylon Allen that can also take the load off of Brees Hall. And then in the passing game, which is what I like the most, Mike Williams had 3 catches. Tyler Conklin had 5 catches. Allen Lazard had 3 catches and a touchdown. Right? Garrett Wilson had 5 catches. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson are not on the same page right now. They're still gelling. They're still getting that chemistry down. But normally, whenever you have a number one receiver and the connection is there, right? As a fan, as a spectator, you want to see, okay, who's at number 2, who's at number 3, right? So if Aaron Rodgers was just force feeding Garrett Wilson this whole time, then I would be worried because where is the others? Well, it's the opposite. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson are not on the same page yet, but we're seeing him get the ball to Allen Lazard. Mike Williams is slowly getting back into the rhythm of things, and he had 3 catches on Thursday. And then Tyler Conklin looked like he can be a really good target for Aaron Rodgers. Then, of course, they use Braylon Allen and Breece Hall in the passing game, too. So we're seeing him utilize the weapons. And Mike Williams, as he comes back to his full self, we saw him almost catch a touchdown in the end zone, which was a jump ball, which is what he does, right? He's that jump ball guy. And I think he's a great number 2 option, even better number 3 option if Allen Lazard is going to be the number 2 option. And Allen Lazard, mind you, him and Aaron Rodgers has that connection from Green Bay. So offensively, I was impressed just because of how smooth it looked and because he's spreading the ball around. 8 different receivers caught a pass from Aaron Rodgers. That is vintage Aaron Rodgers. That's the Aaron Rodgers that everyone should fear, all right? And then on the defensive side, of course, they dominate the Patriots. The Patriots offense don't have much. But one thing that concerned me last week in week 2, Jermaine Johnson, who I talked about a lot when I talked about his Jets team, he tore his Achilles out for the year, right? Hate injuries. But Will McDonald, right, when I named that D-line, I named Quinnen Williams, right, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson. I went down a list of names. Will McDonald has stepped up, and he's at 5 sacks through 3 weeks this year. So Will McDonald can be that elite edge rusher that they need. And then you also have Quinnen Williams in the middle. Then Jermaine Johnson will be missed, but it would not be a void since Jermaine Johnson got hurt, if that makes sense, right? Will McDonald is filling in those shoes for Jermaine Johnson, and I think that this defense is going to stay elite, and the offense is coming. Okay, this is why it's something, because they've gotten better. It's looked better every single week. I can only expect it to get better from here. All right. So let's go ahead and let's talk about my week 3 picks. Last week I went 9-7. All right, but the Eagles was up with by 6 with 1:39 left, right? So I should be 10-6 again. That would have been 2 straight weeks of being 10-6. But I ended up dropping to 9-7 because of the Eagles, right? But as you see on the screen, I'm 20-13 on the year. So let's go ahead and let's keep this train rolling, right? It's not bad if you ask me. I'm above 500 every week. Let's keep it going. But real quick, week 3, right? There's a couple teams that are 0-2, and there's a stat that I want everybody to know, right? Only 6 0-3 teams, right, have made the playoffs since the NFL expansion in 1979. So basically, what I'm saying is a lot of these 0-2 teams are facing a do-or-die situation in week 3. All right, so there's a couple of actually really good teams that are 0-2 right now that could be 0-3 after this week. The Bengals, right? The Ravens, the Rams. It's a lot, and the Rams there's so many injuries over there. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, the O-line. It's just so bad that they might just go 0-3. But the Bengals and the Ravens, 2 teams that a lot of people had a lot of high expectations for, are both 0-2, right? So they could, after this week, be 0-3, which, like I said, only 6 teams have made the playoffs since 1979 after starting 0-3. All right, so just something to keep in mind. And this is, like I said, for some teams, this is a very, very big week. All right. On Thursday, I picked the Jets to win that game. So let's go ahead and head into tomorrow. All right. First up, we got the Giants and the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go with Cleveland. Okay. The Giants, I said in the beginning of the year, they're bottom barrel cheeks. They're not that good. There's nothing on this team that makes me excited. Even the whole Malik Neighbors situation, the rookie out of LSU, who looks really, really good, but it's not enough. Right, as long as you have Daniel Jones back there, you're not going to be successful. And the defense, it's just it's bad. All around, it's bad. So every week, I would advise that you pick against the Giants. I'm going with Cleveland. Cleveland hasn't looked that much better, in my opinion, but this defense should terrorize that Giants offense. And then offensively, they should be able to run the ball through the Giants' throats. All right, because he looked in week 1. Aaron Jones had a big game against the Giants. All right, in week 2, Brian Robinson had a big game against the Giants, so I can only expect Jerome Ford to have a big game as well against the Giants. All right, next we're going with the Packers and the Titans. I got the Packers winning this game. Last week, even with Malik Willis at quarterback, they was able to get the W. All right, and they found out that look, we're just gonna give the ball to Josh Jacobs the whole entire game, and he's going to eat. The Titans with Will Levis, I just can't trust him. Right, we seen him back-to-back weeks. In the first week, he made that terrible pass. Right, that terrible pass that led to a pick six, and then the meme of him having his hands on his head. Right, and then in the second week against the Jets, I don't know if y'all saw it, but he made another terrible mistake where he just lateraled the ball as he was getting sacked. It turned to a fumble. The Jets got the ball, and then the coach even said, "What are you doing?" He said that to his quarterback. "What are you doing?" So to me, I can't trust Will Levis to win any games. So I'm gonna go with the Packers to win this one on the road in Tennessee. All right, next we got Chicago and the Colts. I think the Colts are going to get back on track in this game. They're another team that's 0-2, facing that 0-3 possibly, right? You don't want to be 0-3. So I think the Colts, they know how important this game is. They're going against a Bears team that defensively have looked good in both weeks, but offensively they're still trying to find the rhythm, right? Caleb Williams is still trying to get the hang of things, so I think the Colts can take advantage of that. Yes, they lost to Forrest Buckner, but I do think they can take advantage of Caleb Williams still trying to grow. And offensively, Anthony Richardson got to come on, right? Last week he didn't have a good game. This week is a do or die situation. Do not face 0-3. All right. I got the Colts with their backs against the wall. Next, we got the Texans and the Vikings. All right, I'm going with the Houston Texans on the road. I was tempted to go with the Vikings, but I like what I'm seeing from the Texans. Defensively, they look good. Offensively, you already know with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. Nico Collins has been the main attraction on this offense, but I'm waiting on Tank Dell to come along, right, and make his noise. Stephon Diggs is going to be there regardless. And then Joe Mixon in the backfield. I think that this team just has a lot for Minnesota to digest. But Minnesota's defense looked great against the 49ers last week. Yes, they was without Christian McCaffrey, but Brian Flores and his defense looks nice, all right. But I gotta go with the Texans on the road. I just can't pick against CJ Stroud when he's facing Sam Darnold, all right. Next we got the Eagles and the Saints. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I talked about it the other day about how I'm not that confident in the Eagles right now, but I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Okay, I understand the Saints have the hot hand right now. I got it 100%. But I do think that the Eagles understand they let one slip last week, and not only that, but I think the Saints are riding so high right now. Right, it's kind of time to bring them back at least closer to everyone else's level. Right, I'm not saying the Saints are fake or frauds or nothing like that, but I do think that Cinderella run they're on right now is going to have a little bitty speed bump in the road. I'm going with the underdogs. I'm going with the Eagles. All right. Um, Next, we have the Chargers and the Steelers. I'm going with Pittsburgh. These are two 2-0 teams who have been running the ball and playing really good defense. Well, if I had to trust one defense in this game to make a lot of noise, I'm going to trust that Steelers defense. And not only that, but it's the Steelers home opener. So I got the Steelers winning this game against the Chargers. Nothing against the Chargers. I just got to pick one to win. I think Pittsburgh at home have that energy, have that crowd behind them, kind of like the Jets the other night, right? It's going to have that feel of being back at home. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith is going to get after Justin Herbert, and the Steelers' run defense has been really, really good this year. And all the Chargers do is run the football. So I do believe that we're going to make Justin Herbert put the ball in the air. He doesn't have that many weapons, and then we can feast on that with our pass rush. I'm going with Pittsburgh at home. All right, next we got the Broncos and the Bucks. Going with the Bucks. All right. Right now the Broncos are going through growing pains. Right, they're trying to figure out how to utilize Bo Nix, how to get them comfortable, and I think the Buccaneers are going to take advantage of that. This is the 2-0 team that just beat Detroit last week. I called that game. I picked the Bucks to win. I think they'll win again this week against a weak Broncos offense and also a defense as well. Next, we're going with Carolina and the Raiders. I'm going with the Raiders. Look, I'm not going to pick this upset because I just think that Andy Dalton is not going to come in and just make this offense look any better than it was with Bryce Young. I just don't believe that. So I'm going with the Raiders at home, coming off a big win against the Baltimore Ravens, which shocked everyone. I even picked the Ravens last week. And I think they're going to ride this wave and go against a very, very bad Carolina team and get the W at home. All right, next we got Miami and the Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks. Even if Tua was playing, I would pick the Seahawks. But without Tua, I'm definitely picking the Seahawks. So I think the Dolphins, to me, like I told y'all, they're going to be a below 500 team this year. I wish Tua didn't get hurt because now that's going to be the reason why for sure. But even with him, I don't see this team winning a lot of games. I'm just not impressed by what I see in Miami. And I think Seattle has found something special in Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he should have a big game against the Miami Dolphins. All right. Next, you got the Cowboys and the Ravens. Look, it's do or die for Baltimore, right? You don't want to face this 0-3 deficit because, like I said, only 16 was able to get to the playoffs. So I'm gonna go with Dallas. I'm gonna go with Dallas. Look, I picked Dallas to lose last week to New Orleans at home, but this week I think Dallas has to win this game. To they have to get things back on track. And when I say back on track, I mean they're going to become almost the laughing stock of the league if they lose this game. Because the narrative is going to be okay, you played a very bad Cleveland team, then you play a New Orleans team and a Ravens team, and you lose to both of them. You're losing to an 0-2 Ravens team. They can't afford that. I just think that Dallas is going to be able to win this game. Not saying that's going to be a blowout, nothing like that. But I do think it'll be close, and I think Dallas can pull off this W against the Ravens. And I got the Ravens falling to 0-3 this year, which is shocking, but I'm going to go with Dallas, which I normally don't do, but I'm going to go with Dallas, all right? Next, we got the 49ers and the Rams. I'm going out on a limb. I'm picking the Rams. Okay, the 49ers don't have Christian McCaffrey. They don't have Deebo Samuel. Okay, and I understand the Rams don't have Puka Nacua and the Rams don't have Cooper Kupp. But I think that the Rams, I trust Matthew Stafford without his weapons more than I trust Brock Purdy without his two main weapons. Like, I understand George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk is still there, but I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey and Debo is his main guys, right? I get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, he make things happen. Debo Samuel is my all around what do you call it? My all around gadget player. Yeah, gadget player. So I think that I'm going with the Rams on the upset. They got to get it together. They cannot fall 0-3 because not only will they be 0-3, but they'll be 0-3 without Cooper Kupp, without Puka Nacua, right? And they're at home. I got to go with the Rams on a big upset, y'all. I'm gonna go. I'm going on a limb right there. The Lions and the Cardinals. Going with the Cardinals. Look, the Lions to me, this is another team like the Ravens. I said it beginning of the year. They messed up last year. Last year was their golden opportunity to make a run at the Super Bowl, but this year the NFC is just better now. That's why last week I picked the Bucks, and this week I'm gonna pick the Cardinals. Look, the Cardinals to me are not world beaters either. I'm not that much of a believer in the Cardinals, but the Lions, I feel like they're having a hard time being the hunted and not the hunters, right? Last year they were still trying to prove themselves. Now they've proven themselves, and now it's a target on their back, right? So I do think that the Cardinals can get the upset in this one. I got Arizona. All right, Sunday night football, the Chiefs and the Falcons. Y'all might as well call this upset central. I'm going with the Falcons. All right, look, the Falcons. I feel like the Eagles saved the Falcons season. That collapse by the Eagles gave the Falcons hope, gave the Falcons life, and I think it's gonna carry over to this week. And Isaiah Pacheco not being there anymore right now, I don't know when he's coming back for the Chiefs. I think that's gonna hurt them a little bit. And Mahomes has not looked like Mahomes this year as of yet. Right, all I've been hearing is Mahomes about to have this crazy bounce back season because when he has a bad season or a mediocre season, right, just talking about the regular season last year, he always bounced back with an MVP type year. I haven't seen it yet. Last week he threw 2 interceptions against the Cincinnati Bengals. Kind of got bailed out in that game with that PI at the end. It was a PI, but you see what I'm saying? Kind of got bailed out. I got the Falcons carrying that momentum from Philly back to Atlanta and winning this Sunday night football game and shocking the world. And then on Monday, we have a doubleheader between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills first. I'm going with the Bills. Okay, I just can't buy any stock in Trevor Lawrence and his Jacksonville team until further notice. All right, I dropped them last year and haven't picked them up since. Right now, they're 0-2. They should be 0-3 after this week. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen is playing that Superman role. We saw it in week 1, week 2, really didn't have to because the Miami Dolphins offense couldn't get anything going. But I just don't see Trevor Lawrence outscoring Josh Allen, and I don't believe in that Jacksonville defense. So there's nothing there for me to say, okay, Jacksonville can go to Buffalo and get the upset. All right. And then on Monday night, the last game on Monday, the last game of the week is the Commanders and the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals. The Bengals cannot afford to go 0-3, and they will not go 0-3 against the Commanders. Okay, Ja'Marr Chase, this is your chance to bounce back. This is your chance to get back on the headliners, right? You need this game because this Commanders secondary is horrible. We just saw Malik Neighbors, the rookie out of the Giants, have over 100 receiving yards. Ja'Marr Chase has to go off this game because he has just not been the same. Ever since the whole contract situation, we just have not seen Ja'Marr Chase be that guy. This is his golden opportunity. It's there. The opportunity is there for him to go and be that guy against the Commanders on Monday night with the whole world watching on Monday Night Football. I think he's going to have a really big game, and I think the Bengals are going to win this one at home with ease. All right, so that is my week 3 picks, and that is also it for today's episode of the Straight to the Point podcast. Look, man, we already at week 3. Ain't that crazy? Like I feel like we was waiting so long for the NFL season to come back, and then already we're at week 3. All right, so make sure y'all enjoy this week. Y'all watch every game y'all can tomorrow. Enjoy it, soak it in, and then I will see y'all again next week on Wednesday for episode 6 of the Straight to the Point podcast. It's your boy Jay Best. Y'all stay blessed. I'm out.